Hi, this is Dr. Greg Oliver once again from Fat Doctor TV. So I hope you're having a great weekend. Wanted to cover a specific diet that's kind of trendy and new fad. It's been out there here in the last couple of years. And it's an old diet that's kind of gained resurgence since it was mentioned in a recent book by a Canadian man named Mr. Trudeau. But basically, this is called the hcg diet, or human chorionic gonadotropin diet. And let me explain some terms there. You may be familiar with it. You may be not familiar with it. But this is a diet that originally was reported and written about by Dr. A.T.W. Simeons in 1954. Dr. Simeons was a physician from England, or a British physician, and had spent a lot of his time practicing medicine in Italy. During that time, he had made many observations about his obese patients and how to manage those, how to deal with them, and what was the cause of obesity. So he was a very diligent researcher as far as his observational research was considered. But he wrote a paper in 1954 called Pounds and Inches, and it was a new perspective on obesity. And in that, he actually laid out the dietary plan for his hcg injection diet. And what he talked about was a diet which included a single injection of 125 units of human chorionic gonadotropin on a daily basis, along with a 500-calorie diet. And the details of this, I'll go over a few here in a minute, but let me tell you first about human chorionic gonadotropin. hcg, that is the protein or hormone we actually measure when we're checking a woman for pregnancy. We check hcg levels either in the urine or the blood to confirm that it's elevated, consistent with pregnancy. The hcg is actually manufactured by the placenta or initially in the trophoblast prior to the placenta. So without getting into a lot of scientific details, the hcg is found in high levels in pregnant women. And therefore, one would think this must be a very safe hormone because it's produced by pregnant women, certainly doesn't harm the fetus, and is important during pregnancy. Well, Dr. Simeons felt that this was very important, a hormone that could be utilized to help move fat from the abdominal fat storage into the bloodstream to be utilized, and that in conjunction with a very specific diet. Nowadays, there's lots of different I guess I would call it forms of hcg, but technically the hcg needs to be the pure hormone and injected into the body. There are sublingual drops, tablets, pills. These really, to my knowledge, would not even be considered to be effective. The injection must be done. Now, as far as the 500-calorie diet, the diet consisted of either tea or coffee without any sugar, and you could use 1 tablespoon of milk per day, I guess, with your tea or coffee. And he even mentioned you could use saccharin or stevia as a sweetener at that time. For lunch, you would have 100 grams of protein or meat in conjunction with a vegetable, which was of the green variety, and also a fruit. He also did add either a small breadstick or a small biscuit with that. That same meal, which consisted of 100 grams of protein along with the single green vegetable, the single small fruit, and the small biscuit, could also be taken at your evening meal. But that would be the extent of your eating, which totaled 500 calories per day. Now, I think the big question is, and I've been to several conferences that have had many physicians debating whether this is a legitimate approach to diet or not, or to weight loss or not. And, you know, there's really no scientific data to say that this works or it doesn't work. So the presumption in the evidence-based world of medicine is that this doesn't work. However, there have been lots of observational reports that patients seem to lose weight much more quickly, and that their fat distribution occurs much more readily when using the hcg125 units. Dr. Simeon did not use this for over about 40 days, and he didn't use it for under 26 days. So there are lots of variations of this going on right now in this country and around the world. But if you truly stick with Dr. Simeon's diet, one would think that 500 calories a day, anyone would lose significant weight. And because this is a protein, low carbohydrate diet, I would expect that certainly the fat stores would be burned up and the patient would be in a significant state of fat burning or ketosis throughout that dietary program. So to this day, we don't have a great answer. There has not been a duplicatable scientific study saying yes or no, HCG does in fact work for weight loss. Though there are thousands, hundreds of thousands, and I suspect millions of people around the world who have tried HCG. I have observed many patients using HCG as an adjuvant to their dietary program. I tend to stay above the 500 calorie level, as I think that aggressive monitoring needs to be done if someone's only eating 500 calories a day. In the dietary program I recommended along with HCG, we used 900 calories. We still saw significant weight loss, and in some patients they seemed to do better with the HCG, whereas other patients did not do any better than if I had them on the 900 calorie diet alone. Now, I know that there are those out there who would say, well, that's not the Simeon's diet, therefore it didn't work. Again, we don't know whether the HCG does in fact enhance fat loss or fat redistribution, and again, there has not been a scientific study. I think there are several questions out there, and the first one you have to say is that, number one, Dr. Simeon's work was observational and testimonial. It did not have a true blinded placebo scientific study, and there has not been one to my knowledge. There have been a lot of looks at HCG, but not a specific double-blinded type of study that's been done. So until that's done, it'll be hard to say whether HCG actually is the specific ingredient in that dietary program. The other questions that I would like to say is, number one, does HCG work? I don't think we know for sure. Number two, is it the 500 calorie dietary regimen that works in that program? Certainly if we put people on a 500 calorie diet for 26 to 40 days, they're going to lose significant fat tissue as long as they're getting plenty of protein. Again, I warn that you need to be monitored by a physician if you're going to be on a 500 calorie a day diet. Is this placebo effect? We know the placebo effect is very powerful, and most studies can improve results upwards of 20 to 30%. So it is possible that daily injection of HCG may provide a strong placebo effect and enhance the dieter's ability to cope with 500 calories or 900 calories, whatever the program is that the person's on every day. Dr. Simeon's study did report that patients who took the HCG injections did not feel the symptoms that would normally be associated with such a low-calorie diet, and those would include fatigue, headache, muscle aches and pains, things like that. He felt that the HCG allowed them to stay on the low-calorie diet for that prolonged period of time. Well, that's the information I have for you today on HCG and the HCG diet. I don't know that the HCG diet is going to make America slim. Certainly, I don't think it's harmful, but you must be monitored if you're going to drop down to that 500 calorie level. Certainly don't attempt that on your own. I would also be very careful and caution you against ordering HCG online from other countries, as there's no quality control that's going on there, and you may not be getting HCG, and unfortunately you may get something that's not beneficial or even toxic to you. So if you're going to do the HCG diet, make sure you get with a legitimate licensed physician who understands the HCG and the HCG diet and understands the monitoring process, and certainly in that case I think you would see no harm with that, and it may be something that would work for you. If you have questions, contact us here at Fat Doctor TV, and it's always good to talk to you. Look forward to seeing you again on fatdoctor.tv. This is Dr. Greg Oliver saying, have a great day. We'll see less of you next time.